Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, I'm Mary Octavia. Would like to present our midterm test through presentation with the topic reading research-based article with IMRAD format. Okay, our first discussion, we would like to know about types of articles. There are two types of articles. First one is research-based original article. It is conducted based on the data collected in the fields. And the second article is review articles. It is conducted by doing analysis of published articles to know trends or issue in certain fields. Next, let's see the structure of a research-based article. The first one is title, and the second one is author, affiliation, abstract, introduction, methods or materials, and methods of research methods, results and findings, discussion, conclusion, acknowledgement, and reference. Next, let's see what are the IMRAD format. What are the IMRAD format itself? IMRAD consists of 5 letters that are IMRAD. I for introduction. In this part, we will find what was the question of the research. M for methods will consist of how did the research to answer it. And R for results, we'll talk about what did the researchers find. And discussion, what do the results mean. Next, let's see the structure of itself, the structure of the research. Okay, the first one is title. Title describes paper's content clearly using keywords for database and search engines. Next, abstract. Abstract is a summary for about 150 to 200 words of the problem, method, results, and the conclusion in a short paragraph. The reader can decide whether or not to read the whole articles. Then for IMRAD, the first one is introduction. Introduction clearly stated the problem being investigated and reasons for research, summarizes relevant research to provide context, research gap, identifies the question being answered, research aims, hypothesis, research questions, and significance of the research. Next, let's talk about methods. Methods provide the reader enough details so they can understand and replicate the research, explain how the problem was studied, identifies the procedures followed, explain the methodology in detail, includes the frequency of observations, what types of data were recorded. Okay, next, results. Results presents the findings and explains what was found, shows how the new results are contributing to the body of specific knowledge, follows a logical sequence based on the tables and features presenting the findings to answer the questions or hypotheses. Next, we'd like to talk about discussion and conclusion. Discussion and conclusions describe what the result mean regarding what was already known about the subject, indicates how the results relate to expectations and to the literature previously cited, explains how the research has moved to the body of scientific knowledge forward, outlines the next step for further study. Next, on acknowledgements, recognize various contributions of other workers. And then references. References is the sources of previous published work. Okay, Now let's see the worksheet of reading research-based article. Okay, the first one is in this worksheet, we can see the identity of article. Okay, this research-based article with IMRAD format. The first one is introduction. Identity of this article. Okay, the identity of articles consists of authors, year, title, name of journal, volume, number, pages, DOI, journal home page. Okay, we can find this all identity at this journal, especially at the top of this journal. For example, the author. The author we can find here clearly under the title. Under the title, and the author is Haryati Budi Jatmiko. And then for the year, we can find it at the right top of this article, that is 2020. And then let's see for the title. The title we can find here with the bold letter at the top of this article under the other identity of this journal. Next, the name of the journal. Name of the journal. It is the journal named, and this is the sign of the journal. And then volume. Also, we can find it at the top of this article, on the right top of this article. And then number, pages, DOY, and journal homepage. Also, we can find it at the top, at the right top, and on the left top of this article. Okay, next let's see the part of introduction. Part of introduction. In this part, we can find the information about topic or area investigated. In this part, or in this article, the topic is online sign learning devices cooperative model. And the second one is context or background for the study. And as we know, why the researcher do online sign learning devices cooperative model is because there is learning outcomes were still low, which was less than the minimum criteria of mastery learning, and it is caused maybe the influence of technological change in learning system. And then the third one is summary of any previous research. This is the summary of any previous research that we can find in this introduction. Next, in this yellow table, this yellow table is about research gap. According to me, in this research gap is population gap, because in this research has a limited population, and the population is directed only for grade 5 students, about 40 students. So I think in this population gap would make other researchers to make a research about uh, uh, this research with a larger population. And then the point A, Argument or rationales. Why the researcher has undertaken the study. The science learning outcomes were still low. Then F, the specific purpose of research objective or research questions. Research purpose is to improve the learning outcomes of the natural science in Class 5 State Elementary School of Wonorejo 314 Surabaya. Okay, and this is the answer of research. This is the research questions of this research. Okay, now let's see the next IMRAD methods. The A point is who or what was studied. So, who here are the students of class 5A and 5B at State Elementary Schools of Wonorejo 314 Surabaya in semester 2 of the 2019-2020 school year. And what is the nature of the research? Qualitative or quantitative? So here, quantitative research. And then C, what is the research design use? The research design use is one group pretest, post-test design research design. And then point D, who is the population of the research? The population of the research is 25A class students and 25B class students. And then what is the sampling techniques? The sampling techniques used was simple random sampling. And point F is what are the techniques of data collection? Data collection techniques in this study were observation, tests, and questionnaires. And then for G, what is the techniques of data analysis used in this study? So in this article, we find that statistical data analysis. And then point H, what are research procedure? The procedure of this research using 4D model. Let's see the method. Results and findings. In results and findings, describe major findings and informative feature for each heading based on stated research questions or hypotheses or objectives. Here, there are some findings that we find based on the research questions. Okay, let's see. There are some findings that we find from the research questions. And as usual, usually there is the sign, the characteristic of research findings, of quantitative research. There is a data used in statistical data. Next, okay, now let's see this part of discussion. Okay, in this discussion, we would know about a description of summary of major findings of the study. Okay, in this part, we describe the researcher describes summary of major findings of the study. So in this article, the summary was online science learning tools use type cooperative learning models assisted with video media that are developed appropriately to improve students' learning outcomes on the heat transfer materials. So these were the summary of the major findings. And then the application describe some comparisons. The comparison of this study The researcher learning device in study is said to be valid which the worthy of being used a research instrument. This result is supported by Wulandari 2019. So the comparison of the researcher and other researcher. Next limitation, describe the possible problem related with research method used. This research was conducted for elementary school students and the population was only for grade 5 students. So uh, this research is limited only for a small population of students. Then recommendation. Okay, next abstract. We talk about abstract. In this abstract, there is information about what the research is about. Here in this article, the research is about a way to improve learning outcomes of elementary students. The way use of was online science learning devices, cooperative model type, start assisted by video media, it video media. So we can find the information here in this part. Then this point B, what is the research did or the research aims? The research aims to produce the start cooperative model online learning tools with the help of video media to improve students' learning outcomes in elementary school. So we can find it in the first sentence. How was the research conducted? Development of learning tools used by 4D model and tested on 40 students. So you can find here 40 students. Then what found result of the research in this article? The results show that online science learning tools were valid with validation results in very valid category. Practical in terms implementing lesson is categorized. We also can find here. And then what the results mean. Online science learning device cooperative model type start assisted by video media is appropriate to be used to improve learning outcomes of elementary schools. Okay, next. Okay, this is the last part, summary. In this summary, we make the summary conclusion of this article in one paragraph based on the information in the section of IMRAD. So according to me, these are the summary and the research gaps. The research gap of this research is population gap. The population is only for grade 5 of elementary school. So the next researcher the next research we need to add more population in different grade of students to prove whether this way is effective for different grade of students. Well, I think that's all my presentation for today. I'm sorry for my mistakes. I'm sure this is not perfect, and there are some mistakes on delivering my presentation. So I'm sorry for that. Thank you for all attention and thank you to my lecturer that has given me time to present my midterm test presentation with the topic research based article with IMRAD format. Thank you once again and see you next time.